I see it all the time in this industry. You know, contractors turning up to a driveway, turning the pressure washer right up to 3000 psi and just going to town on the surface. And what happens? They discover too late that they have etched permanent wand marks right into a client's decorative concrete, or completely stripped the loose aggregate straight off a resin-bound gravel drive. It is an expensive, avoidable mistake. The fundamental issue is that high pressure simply fails when you are dealing with organic growth. If you take a high pressure jet to block paving or Indian sandstone, yeah, okay, it blasts off the visible surface algae on the day, it looks clean for a minute, but what you have actually done is left the microscopic lichen roots, the hyphae, anchored deep inside the pores of the paving. Give it 4 to 6 weeks, damp UK weather comes back, and that algae recolonizes faster than before because you have opened up the surface pores with raw force. You have essentially created a better environment for it to grow back. That is why a chemistry-first approach changes everything. When you apply a controlled sodium hypochlorite softwash pretreatment, the chemical actually oxidizes and breaks down the biological cellular walls of the algae and lichen. It kills the organism right down in the pores. Then, instead of blasting away with insane pressure, you are simply rinsing at low pressure. You save massive amounts of labour time, you use less water, and, crucially, you eliminate the risk of scarring or destroying expensive substrates. Chemistry does the hard work, not pressure. Now, before you even pull a hose off your van, you need a solid site survey process. My biggest practical tip for any contractor is to take clear, high-quality pre-cleaning photographs of every single elevation and driveway surface, and take 60 seconds to carry out a test patch in a subtle, inconspicuous area, especially on mixed surfaces. You would be amazed how often a driveway already has existing acid damage from a previous DIY attempt, or crumbling, loose mortar pointing that is ready to fall out. If you do not document that before you touch the job, guess who gets blamed for the damage when the surface dries? You do. Once the cleaning phase is finished, there is another massive trap that trips up a lot of guys, particularly on block paving. It is what I call the resanding trap. A contractor finishes rinsing, sees that the joints are clean, and immediately starts sweeping kiln-dried sand straight across the blocks while they are still damp. What happens? The sand absorbs the residual moisture, clumps together on top of the blocks, and fails to settle down into the bottom of the joints. You end up with empty joints, unstable paving blocks that shift under vehicle weight, and a very unhappy customer. You must let that block paving dry out completely before sweeping in fresh kiln-dried sand. If that means coming back the next day or later in the afternoon when the British sun has done its job, then that is what you do. Structural stability of that driveway depends on proper joint filling. Then we have to talk about runoff and drainage compliance. You cannot just spray softwash chemistry and heavy oil degreasers around and let the dirty wash water run straight down the street. On sloped domestic drives or commercial car parks, you have to pre-plan your containment before you start. You need to know where that surface water goes. Is it heading into a foul drain, a soakaway, or straight into a storm drain that leads directly to a local river? If you are working near storm drains or lawns, you block or divert the flow, collect contaminated runoff where necessary, and ensure softwash chemistry never enters watercourses or kills a client's prized turf. This is what separates a true professional from a splash and dash cleaner who just wants to blast water, collect cash, and run away. When you understand substrate diagnosis, when you carry out proper risk assessments and COSH compliance, and when you match the exact chemical to the specific stain, whether it is an organic biofilm or an oil mark, everything changes. You are no longer competing on price with the guy down the road who bought a cheap jet washer. You build genuine customer trust. You deliver longer lasting results, and you justify much higher profit margins because you are offering a specialist service. If you want to take the next step in your business and stop guessing on site, get yourself properly educated. Have a look at the Softwash UK CPD Certified Softwash Training course over at softwashim.uk. It gives you the deep technical knowledge on chemistry, equipment and safety regulations so you can work with total confidence. get listed on the approved Softwash applicator directory, and access ongoing technical support whenever you need it. Train properly, protect the surface, and build a business you are proud of. Right, back to work.